You know, sometimes when you just look at something and you kind of just have to wonder and think, why does this exist in the first place? I get that feeling when I look at some movies or TV shows, but when it happens with games, it's a whole other feeling. To imagine that people have spent years of their lives making something only to release their first trailer and the public pretty much then just going, what even is this in the first place? Yep, today we're going to be talking about Highguard, guys. This video will be coming out on January 21st, 2026, and Highguard launches on January 26th. And yet, as you'll see in this video, there's still only one single trailer for the game that's currently available, which is not only weird, but kind of alarming too. So if you don't mind, this video kind of needs more footage than a single trailer, obviously. So a lot of the footage will be other hero shooters and such that I'll be comparing this to if you don't mind. And here's the thing, right? I don't hate Highguard or anything. I can't really hate something that, as of this video being made anyways, is not out yet, obviously. That being said, Highguard fascinates the bejesus out of me because the entire way that the studio that made this game has gone about with all of this is nothing short of what the hell is happening, if you ask me. But I want to not only explore what the internet is saying, but wonder if people are getting sick of this genre, that being hero shooters in general too. So Highguard is obviously a hero shooter coming January 26th, like I said, from Wildlight Entertainment. It's a studio newly formed by developers who previously worked on Apex Legends and Titanfall and other things too. It blends PvP combat apparently with fantasy and sci-fi elements, gee, I haven't heard that one before, and swords and guns and mounts and abilities, and it's all in a free-to-play game format. This should have been a moment of excitement like, oh, a new free-to-play shooter built by veterans of the genre. That's usually the kind of reveal that gets players kind of hyped, but when the official trailer dropped, the community, well, they didn't respond kindly at all, and that's an understatement. Instead, it got massively disliked, and people were just generally confused why it even existed in the first place the way that it is. What confused me, however, the most was how Highguard was announced. It was the final game, if you remember, at the Game Awards 2025. But the problem is not only did the trailer look generic, which it did, come on, be honest with yourselves, the team making the game has also since gone radio silent since that initial reveal. Like, that's really weird, dude. There's zero gameplay outside of that one trailer online. There's no developer diary mini documentary thing. There's no this hero trailer and how they play hype videos. Like, there's just literally nothing. It's very weird because apparently, from what I understand, the team at Wildlight want this game to drop like Apex Legends did. In case you forgot, Apex just got shadow dropped one day by Respawn and EA. There really wasn't time to form any expectations or opinions on Apex when it released, because the game just didn't exist one day in the public conscious, and then the next day, boom, it was here. You can play it. And that was, let's be honest, a very effective way of doing it because it didn't allow any real negative press to be generated around the initial reveal of Apex Legends. Because whatever you thought, you could just play the thing right now and then come to your own conclusions instead of listening to anyone else online. Which is why the Highguard reveal makes like no sense to me, because what Wildlight did was honestly the worst of both worlds. They revealed a trailer, it looked generic, then they waited more than a month since, till now I guess, to then unveil the game with its release. But the problem there is that a month in video games is a really long time, and since then that trailer has been judged, dissected, and made fun of, because again, that's all that exists right now for the game. The better option would have been to just not show Highguard at all, not at the Game Awards, not even like a week before launching it even. They should have done what they did with Apex, complete radio silence, nobody even knows this thing exists, and then one day, boom, the trailer is out, the game is out, go download and play it, and then that way the negative sentiment to its designs or whatever else would then be muted by the noise that would be generated on Twitch and YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, whatever and more by people just playing the damn game instead. That way Highguard would have gone from this what the hell is even this game in the first place conversation where it is now to, oh, there's a new game. Oh, it's from the people that did Apex and Titanfall. It's free, so I can try it right now. Sure, why not? I'll give it a download. Like, this simple choice in marketing would have honestly skirted all of this negative reception in like one fell swoop, which is why I'm just so confused by what Wildlight did here with Highguard originally. Maybe they thought they had a banger on their hands and they thought the aesthetic was incredible, so they figured, hey, a trailer before release would hype people up for the, the full launch, I guess. Who knows, maybe, right? Maybe the game is the most amazing amazing hero shooter we've ever seen. Like, how do I know? It's not out yet as of me writing this video, right? So what are we supposed to do then? When you let things linger like this, the internet kind of always comes to their own conclusions about things. It is what it is. That's the internet. As PC Gamer reported here, after Highguard got announced, it was just met with a wave of backlash and criticism. People were calling it Concord 2.0, and to me, it looked like the team at Wildlight took that other terrible game, what was it called? Immortals of Avium, I think. You guys probably didn't even play that game or know that game existed, but anyways, Highguard looks kind of like that if it was like a hero shooter, I guess. Everything that could have gone wrong has went wrong with this, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not even saying this game or the team deserves the hate they're getting, because again, it's one trailer. I get that. But the way that Highguard has been announced and received should tell every other developer and marketing team out there that this is not the way to do it at all. Shadow dropping your free-to-play game is honestly the best way to do it, unless you're absolutely sure that your game looks like a complete banger and will wow people with trailers and you have enough content to release before then to entice people. Honestly, your best bet is just to stay silent and then go Super Saiyan day one, if you ask me. I think the other big reason why people are just so hateful towards Highguard is kind of simple. It's not really because the game looks bad, but because it looks way too familiar in a space that already feels wildly overcrowded. Which, I mean, it is, right? Do we really need more hero shooters right now? So many of those games, they have like come and went already. The new flavor of the month, obviously, is extraction shooters like Arc Raiders and maybe possibly Marathon too. We'll see about that one later on, I guess. But releasing another competitive PvP shooter game that will definitely, have a battle pass and skins to buy and bundles and more, it just sounds exhausting to me. There's only so much time in the day, and you want me to make your game my other second job now? Probably not, I'm gonna be real. As PC Gamer reported here though, Highguard didn't even pay for their reveal trailer at the Game Awards. Instead, it was just offered the final slot by Jeff Keighley because he thought the game looked cool. Which is confusing because one, Jeff Keighley kind of threw the team under the bus by doing that, but the other equally confusing idea is that it's kind of a massive FU to the other development studios that, paid the Game Awards like in the millions of dollars for their trailers to be showcased, to now find out that Jeff just gave this random team a free slot. What do you mean? At the end of the show, they paid nothing, while these other teams have to pay millions of dollars for theirs. Like, what the hell, Jeff? I can only imagine that part did not go over well behind the scenes either. Probably a lot of people are really mad about that, and hey, I don't blame them either. There is a lot of comparisons to Highguard that are also being made to things like Concord, Star Wars Outlaws, Assassin's Creed Shadows. The kind of games that people don't like because they look awful. I mean, that just is what it is. But then you had Tom Henderson. He's the guy who runs Insider Gaming, but he was saying cryptic stuff like this on Twitter. Let me read it for you. You can really tell who got invited to the Highguard event and who didn't with all the takes about its marketing. A user would ask if this was a flex or anything, and Tom would respond that he's not going. Like, I don't know, man. This whole thing, it just kind of sounds like an avoidable mess that never should have happened to begin with. You also had some websites at least running some sort of defense for Highguard, like EGS Computers is seen here. They think that Highguard is just the next game that's being swept into the internet hate machine. I got to admit, I do agree to a degree that yes, it is sort of, but I also think again that none of that would have happened if they just didn't do what they did, and if it didn't look like, again, Immortals of Avium with a battle pass. EGS Computers does bring up a good point though, that I think the other reason why the disappointment is already at an all-time high for Wildlight and Highguard is because this was the game they closed the show with. Technically, the game you close such a big event with has to be the biggest announcement of the night, because it is, as they say, you leave the best for last, yet this felt more like a generic reveal that you put in the pre-show, not something you end the night with. Although, in Highguard's defense, Jeff Keighley did end the Game Awards once with a Fast and the Furious game, if you remember, which looks so terrible that actually in 2022, as seen here, Bandai Namco delisted that Fast and the Furious Crossroads game due to poor reception only 2 years after release. And again, that was a game that got the final reveal slot at the Game Awards in 2020. So it's not like this isn't the first time they've ended their ceremony with something that looked like complete slop, but EGScomputers.com did try to run defense for Highguard. Here's what they said. Highguard's situation highlights a bigger pattern in modern gaming culture. Every few months, a new target appears and the internet seems eager to tear it down before anyone has time to form a balanced opinion. It is not limited to unknown games either. Recent titles like Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws have taken heavy criticism long before release, sometimes for valid concerns, sometimes because outrage and dunking are just part of the online cycle now. Wrong, it is perfectly valid for customers to voice their disdain about products because these products cost real-world money and also require people's time and energy to enjoy them as well. Both games they're using as examples in Shadows and Outlaws, they failed their audiences because they believed they could push progressive elements onto their users and believed that it would just be widely accepted when it, well, wasn't. But Highguard is getting the reception it is because objectively by looking at that game, you really cannot deny that it looks generic when it does. For God's sakes, even its name is just Overwatch but with different words. High instead of over, guard instead of watch. It's the same thing, by the way. The watch guards, the high guards, like they didn't even try. You can't deny that the reception to the game is what it is because people in general are getting sick of hero shooters and always live service games too. These games require way too much of your time and energy to play, reasonably. You can only play maybe one of these types of games for an extended period of time. The market already has so many big players, Apex Legends, Overwatch 2, Marvel Rivals, and more that occupy the core of this genre already. And players are just going to feel like that space is already full, which is, yeah, true, because it kind of already is. Many people are likely tired of the live service model too. It's just this unlimited map stuff and the endless seasons and all the monetization and the grind loops that are all designed to keep you playing for these small incremental awards, most of which you don't even use. Let's be real, who really cares about the sprays or the random stickers you get? For a lot of people, myself included, it feels less like games and they're more like jobs that you play, but you're not getting paid to do. You know what I mean? The best comparison here is, of course, Apex Legends, because again, the people who are making Highguard worked on that game, so it feels like a fair match in my opinion. But Apex Legends is, or was, I guess, one of the biggest success stories in modern shooters. It did carve out its own space in a crowded battle royale landscape by offering the tight gameplay mechanics and the strong balance and regular, meaningful updates that people obviously loved because that game has been going for years now. But regardless of how good it was, though, these sorts of games, they always fall into the same traps time and again. They always have high skill ceilings that will feel punishing, which drives people away. They'll have toxic communities where people yell at each other because you missed that shot or you didn't do that play right. And then the meta gets repetitive usually also because everyone just ends up using what's best. So it's not really surprising that people in general who do play games like Apex or Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, and I can only assume this will happen with Highguard too, which is just going to be more full-blown burnouts after so many long seasons time and time again. And that's really the paradox here, which is that even the successful hero shooters have legitimate frustrations that they still can't fix, despite being years on the market. And when players see yet another entry in the same space for the 50th time, the default reaction isn't really excitement anymore, okay? It's gonna be fatigue, and who can blame them? And again, all we've seen is a single trailer, barely any real gameplay, and even the developers of the game, Highguard I mean, are offering no explanations. They're just radio silent online. It is a recipe for cynicism. You can sugarcoat it all you want, but it is what it is. You know it to be true. This isn't the first time the genre has shown strain like this either. You had games like Concord that walked into the market and then failed spectacularly because they couldn't distinguish themselves enough from Overwatch or Apex. It was just another hero shooter. Even beloved franchises have faced challenges when they try to chase trends rather than innovate. We all know this. Sure, okay, you got some indie titles or hybrid games that will blend the genres that have seen big success stories. But pure hero shooters in the year of our Lord 2026, or I guess even 2025 before it, that track record there is increasingly mixed for a reason. Because people aren't just asking, why does this game exist? They're equally then asking, does this game add anything new that I can't find anywhere else that will also, and this is, a big thing, entice me to leave behind this other game that I spend money and time in to abandon it for this other new game now. And let's be real, when it comes to always online games, half the time, you don't even know if it'll exist in a year or so anyways in the future. It's sort of like Netflix, like how many TV shows have aired and have been canceled and are now like left incomplete on that service? A few too many, I'm sure you're aware. And that's sort of how I feel about many live service games. Like, why would I invest if the people making it can just one day go, well, that was fun. Thanks everyone, we're now divesting our efforts, I guess, and thanks for playing. Okay, bye. Also, we're keeping your money and time, I guess. The truth about Highguard is that it's a game that's developed by talented people. Sure, I'm not saying it isn't, with great resumes again, because these people worked on Apex and Titanfall. But it is entering at a moment when players are seriously questioning the value of a hero shooter and live service games as a whole, and like, you can't blame them. Whether Highguard succeeds or fails will tell us a lot about how much life this genre has left in the future too. Who knows though, right? Maybe Highguard comes out, blows up, and it's amazing. It ends up being generational. It's a big reason why I'm not saying outright that the game is bad. Because how can I know that when it's not out yet, right? That would be stupid to say. But what I am saying is that the reception to the game and how people are viewing it is equally just as valid too. You're not toxic all of a sudden because you have your own opinion that doesn't align with the yes men's of the world. You're allowed to question things and ask uncomfortable things too. It's not like I'm sitting here rubbing my hands together like a supervillain salivating at the idea of Highguard failing. No. Why would I want that? My best performing videos are mostly about the games that people love and do well too. Sure, I guess failure of a game can work for content to a degree, but it would be awesome if Highguard was actually great. But from what I've seen so far, I'm not convinced. I will admit though, I do think the fact you can blow up the levels in Highguard to be interesting, kind of. It gives me that Battlefield feel a little bit there, which does make it more dynamic. But actually, let's pivot to Battlefield 6 for a second here to prove my other point too. Battlefield 6 right now is kind of, I wouldn't say dying, but it's not as popular already as it was in its initial release. That cannot be denied. It's just the truth. As Gaming Bible reported recently, Battlefield 6 is also bleeding players already, and it's not even been out for half a year. If you want actual numbers on Steam, at least as seen here, Battlefield 6 peaked in the 700,000s. It's now down to 65,000 or so as of right now when I write this video anyways. So if you want an exact percentage of how many players are still playing Battlefield 6 on Steam right now, I put that in the calculator. As you can see here, Battlefield 6 is averaging only about 8.78% of its initial install base on Steam alone right now. And that's Battlefield, right? That's a series that is known, it is sold very well. People are aware of that series and it has real hype behind it. Now tell me if Highguard will reach the same level or not. It's also a new IP in a very tired genre with likely the same monetization policies we've all come to know and loathe already. I just think as of right now, I could be wrong, who knows, that Highguard is also releasing into a crowded market. Man, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it does do well, but I am skeptical. Arc Raiders is doing amazing, but that's because it's not a hero shooter. It's not battle royale. It's none of those things. It's in its own genre that's extraction shooters, obviously, that is currently not as overcrowded as other subgenres in the same FPS space. I'm sure as time goes on, more games will try to copy Arc Raiders and that space will become saturated like crazy the same way hero shooters and battle royales did too. But releasing your new hero shooter in 2026, I mean, for me, it sounds like it's 10 years too late, you know? Concord's own developers have admitted that they were chasing that Overwatch pie and they arrived 8 years after Overwatch, and look what happened to them. They got obliterated. And let's be honest, if players are tired of the same formula, which they are by the way, and if these live service games feel exhausting, which they do, and if marketing silence breeds distrust, which that absolutely also does, then the industry might finally be reaching a turning point here on all of this. I don't know about you, but I just can't get excited for a live service game anymore. The only one I still play here and there is Marvel Rivals. And even then, it's like maybe an hour of gameplay for me every 2 or 3 days at best. I just can't really bring myself to care. I haven't touched Battlefield 6 nor Black Ops 7 in like forever. I have no desire to play these sorts of games unless my friends want to play them, I guess. I do wish the industry would stop chasing the live service trend so much. It's already caused Sony, for example, to cancel so many more games than they've actually shipped during the PS5 era alone. And I think these talented developers could have made something really interesting instead of what they did. But it looks so far on paper anyways that Highguard is just going to be another one of those games. Who knows yet? Maybe I'm wrong. Hope I am. I would love to see a new trendsetter that, rattles the cages, but I'll close this video out with this from EGS Computers, which reads, "That does not mean players are wrong to be skeptical. PC gamers have been burned by buggy launches, abandoned live service titles, aggressive monetization, and clones that feel like they exist only to chase trends. A lot of the frustration around yet another PvP hero shooter comes from that history. People remember investing time and sometimes money into games that were shut down within a year or two. Concord's extremely short lifespan is a fresh example of how quickly a live service shooter can arrive and disappear." Exactly. Why are we as players, or even like the developers in the business of buying or making games, when these sorts of games, if they fail, they don't even then have the right to exist at all then? Like, they're spending years to, I guess, hopefully hit gold, and then when most don't, which is usually how it is, the time is not only wasted, but so too is all of that energy and enthusiasm of the players as well. This sort of game development, it serves no one but really the investors, I guess. It doesn't feel like games that are made for funness sake, but instead they're games that are made to just, I don't know, make money. It just feels soulless, man. It really does. But I don't think swords and guns with generic ethnic hero designs was really the way to go here, but I guess I'll ask you guys, what do you think of Highguard? Are you even excited for it? Do you even care? What's your prediction for it? Like, is it going to be the next Arc Raiders, or is it the next Concord? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. And just imagine if the people who made Highguard took all of their technical know-how with shooters and they made a really cool single-player game instead. Like, what if they made like an open-world Skyrim-like game, but it had guns and all that? Man, what could have been? But anyways, see ya.